Now I got a faint signal. It was a good signal. So I started digging it down to about the 1 foot. My
There
treasure
we
tale
go.
goes back about a year and a half. I was detecting a secluded park that was once a pasture. Now I got a faint signal, but it was a good signal. So I started digging it. I got down to about the 1 foot depth, and I was thinking, should I give up on this or not? But something told me that I should keep going. So almost at the 2 foot deep level, I found an object. And when I took it out of the ground, it was in the shape of a bat wing. And the first thing I saw after I cleaned some of the mud off of it was an elephant. Now, elephants are not very common in Canada, and I knew right away that I had something really, really special. After cleaning the badge, I was able to see the word assay on top. On the left, there was an L. On the right, there was a D. And under the elephant, the Roman numerals XIX, 19. After doing some research, I was able to discover that the badge belonged to the 19th Light Dragoons, a British cavalry unit that was created to fight in the wars in India in 1798 or around then. After the wars in India, they came to Canada and fought in the War of 1812. After discussing my badge with some historians, and this is where it really, really gets exciting for me, we were able to piece together that the owner of the badge was a soldier on horseback who was delivering messages from the battle site, which was in Stony Creek, to the campsite, which was on Burlington Heights. Very, very exciting. This is what I absolutely love about metal detecting. My name is Liz. I absolutely love history, and thank you so very much for sharing this moment with me.
Well, that was good. You can always count on the Digging Canuck to have a good treasure story. She did some really good stuff. So, Liz, I appreciate it ever so much. And we'll see if we can't get things cleared up here. I apologize if it's a little choppy. It's very stormy here. And the internet is what the internet is. Somebody said, "Oh, get a GoFundMe to go get better internet." Well, you know what? You can save those kind of comments for somebody else. If it just sign off and go away. If that's how you feel and that's how you want to be, we're doing the best we can do, and so just kind of hang with me here. So I'm going to get another video. And let's see how this one goes. This is all this screen sharing is all kind of new. And so just kind of bear with me a little bit. We'll get there. So let's try another one here. And I think you'll recognize this guy right off the bat. So let's see. Let me see here. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Ba 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 ba. Hi, everybody. I'm Terry Shannon. Hi, everybody. I'm Terry Shannon. I'm up in northern Minnesota, way up in the north, degrees this morning when we got up this morning. And I'm hunting with the Minnesota Beach Boys. And I was asked to do a short video for this new program that they're starting. And I was going to talk about this 1500 coin that I found down on the Treasure Coast. But really, I think I've got something a heck of a lot more interesting. The Minnesota Beach Boys have been really successful as far as finding, some old copper spearheads and copper ornaments, and these things date back. We believe that they date back prior to Christ. And there's an area that we plan to hunt yet. We think that we're able to
more of this stuff, and so it's really exciting. But I got some stuff to show you today, and my partner here, Al Carpenter, the guy's uncanny. He found, and he'll tell you about it, but he found this spear point yesterday when we were out detecting, and it was his very first target.
In the sand.
In the sand. It was in the water. He was out up to his neck in the water, but he found this thing, and when he looked at it, he just looked at me and said, "This is what you really want, don't you, Shannon?" And he's right. That's what I really want. But this is Al, and these are some of the copper stuff that Al has found. And one of the things that makes us believe that this is before Christ, Alan's son found a coin. It's called a shekel, and I believe it dates, if it had a date on it, would be
124 BC.
124 BC. In fact, what I was told is this coin was one of the like the coin that they gave the individual that turned Jesus in when
Judas.
Judas. He gave this to Judas, and I mean, this is really something. So when we're talking, old stuff back in the treasure coast, when I'm looking for stuff from 1715, and this man is finding stuff before Christ.
And this thing was down through the sand into the deep rocks with a pile of copper. So I know darn well that Indian had this on his neck, or he had it with him and lost it. And do you want to tell them how we think this happened here?
Well, I think what they believe is the Romans and the Vikings used to land in the Nova Scotia or that area, and we really can't tell, because at that time there was a lot more rivers and a lot of the area was flooded, and it could have actually been before the Ice Age, so we don't know exactly how they got there. But they come over to mine copper, and where's the copper?
Island Royal.
Island Royal. But there's copper all over though.
Yep, but they hired the Indians to help them, and I'm sure they traded them silver for work. The Romans did. So we know that, well, our theory is we believe the Romans were here before Columbus.
So we're out looking for some real old stuff. And there's one spot that we think that they may have camped. We got a pretty good idea that they may have camped. I'm not going to give you many details because I want to keep that to myself. But this area is inland, and it's just covered with poison ivy. So what I've done is I got a hold of some of my law enforcement people that are in the know, and they provided us with some hazmat suits. So my next trip up here, I'll be wearing a hazmat suit running through the woods with swinging a detector. It's going to be kind of exciting.
It'll be fun, Terry. It'll be really fun.
I'm very allergic to poison ivy. In fact, about 3-4 years ago, I found another area that was loaded with coins, and it had poison ivy. So I waited till it snowed and went in there, and I ended up in the emergency ward with poison ivy. So being as smart as I am, I thought I could do it right away in the spring, and so I was the last one in at the emergency ward in the fall, and the first one in the spring. These are the copper things. Tell them what these things are.
Well, I believe this is a crescent knife here, the big one. And this here is so thin, I believe it was some kind of ornamental chest jewelry piece. We got awls. We got some spear points. There's a really beautiful spear point. These I'm not sure if they're broken or if there's some kind of drill. This is some kind of gouge they use for gouging wood for carving. And this little thing was found here too, but I believe that's a button from the fur traders. And here's a bunch more smashed down copper that they carried around. I suppose getting ready to make stuff with it, but kind of cool. And then, like I say, this coin was right in the same scoop with those spear points. So I know that Indian had this with him.
He says it's kind of exciting. It's darn exciting.
And where would he get it that many years ago, except from the Romans?
Exactly. And I've been up once before to hunt with him. I come out and I found I think they call it a jingle. It's a copper ornament that the natives wore on the dress when they did the ceremonial dances and that, and an old silver ring. And I've got the fever real bad. You're going to see me up with the Minnesota Beach Boys again. There's a couple of great guys.
And we love hunting with Terry. Nothing better. The legend.
Well, after hunting with Al, I don't know about that legend thing anymore. I mean, this guy is just uncanny. But you can imagine, they walk out. We went by boat in this huge lake, and he gets out of the boat, walks up neck deep in water and comes up with this, you know, from before Christ.
And like Terry says, I'd rather be lucky than good any day.
So hopefully, you know, our next hunt is going to be an epic hunt. I hope so. And I'll keep you posted. And if we do any good, even if we don't do any good, we're going to do another video and pass it on if there's some interest in this stuff. But this is really exciting.
All right, guys. Until the next one.
See you around. Thank you so much for listening in.
That was a good story, wasn't it? I hope everybody enjoyed that. You can always count on Terry Shannon to come up with a good story. He is the master storyteller, and there will be some really good stuff coming down the pike here on Treasure Tales, I think. Just to give you a little preview, in mid-November, I'm going down to the Treasure Coast. And Phil is going to be with me on that trip, as is my best detecting buddy, Low Tide Tim, the Mumbles Man. And I've already rented a house, and I'm gonna make everybody a nice big dinner. And Terry and his wife Jean are coming to dinner, and also Captain Carl Fismer and his guest are coming to dinner. So I'm just gonna, turn the camera on, put them on camera, and let them go at it. So there's going to be some stories flying that night, I can tell you, and they'll all be good ones. Just bear with us. We're having a little cocktail hour beforehand and a couple glasses of wine during dinner. So if you hear something a little off color, don't just hang with us. They don't mean to do that. So that's going to be a real good one. So let's bring on another video, and I think you'll really recognize this one. This is another great video from a real good friend of mine, absolutely a magnificent detectorist. So let me see if I can find him here, and let's go. Okay, here we go.
Today I want to share a story about how I found one of my best spots in the Chesapeake Bay, where I got 150 gold rings in just a little over a year and a half, and how everything unfolded. So what happened is, early on when I did my research in Chesapeake Bay, I did a lot of research on the internet and tracking down old hunters, and some of my best resources for information. So in my process of looking, I came across Frank Carter's address. And Frank Carter and Bob Trevelyan once hunted the Chesapeake Bay, and they wrote several books during the 80s on hunting the bay. So with this, I had Frank's address, and I was able to go by and visit. So upon knocking on the door, a lady answered the door, and she said that Frank had passed, and that she was in the process of selling the home. So we talked a little. She shared some memories about Frank when she was little, and I asked if she had any information, like some of his research or anything. So she did, and she offered to let me go through it, and I was able to bring home a binder that had his handwritten notes in it and everything, and it was about 70 pages of maps and just information. So from this information, he had great details on some of the places they hunted, and most of it was like where the swim platform was, or where the slide could have been, or just information about the beach itself. He actually rated each beach. I'm still trying to figure that rating system out, but basically he gave great details of targets they found. So fast forward to 2015-16, I was doing really good in the bay, and I was averaging about over 100 gold rings a year. So with this, I had several people want to come hunt with me. So what I did was I referred to Frank's notes and everything, and I was able to find a couple places that looked, were good to take people, because I surely wasn't going to take it to the place I was finding my gold. So first, I chose a place that was perfect, that I could take anybody to, and so I ended up taking several people there, and one of my best finds was a pipe with a clay pipe with a dog's head. So as you can see, there's plenty of goodies to be found here, and I found a real nice place I could take people to. And these guys hunt fresh drop beaches, and rarely do they have a chance to find something 100 years old. So fast forward to 2019, I had a couple friends coming in. One was Mark coming in on Thursday. He came in, and I took him to the spot. We got there. I put him on an area where I had found old trinkets like Cracker Jack toys and some brass things and some old coins, rarely gold, but sometimes. So Mark got in there, and while he was in there, rarely do I have a chance to go to this beach unless I take somebody. So I wanted to go exploring, so I did, and I went way south, and I ended up finding a little area enclosed, but a lot of junk. So I said, well, it looks like there was some activity here. So I went deep, and in the third cut, I found some iron, and I started finding silver coins. So I got out of that hunt with Mark. Mark ended up finding a V-nickel and a couple other little trinkets, and so I ended up with 9 silvers that hunt, which is pretty good, and it tells me that there's a good chance to find gold there. So that following Friday, I brought Ed in, and I put him in the same spot that I had put Mark. He got in there, and got him in the cut, and I took off and tried to find my holes, and I did. And I got in there, and I found in the third cut, I got lucky, and I got 7 coins and a gold ring. So that really told me that there was a good chance that this area was really going to be good. So I ended up, Ed and I took off. So I said, you know what, the very next low tide, I'm going to slip in here, and with the water's calm and everything, we'll slip in here and hunt this place. And so I did. I got about a few days later, I watched the tides, and they were perfect. So I said, this is it. I went for it, and I got to the beach and got in there, and third cut out about 2,000 foot down from where the regular beach was. I ended up getting 5 gold rings. So the month of July came, and I was getting out there every low tide I could, and I really played the winds and everything for the calm water, which made it much easier to find stuff. That July I got 37 gold rings in 13 hunts, and truly amazing place. You go there, you're going to find 4 or 5 gold rings to hunt. Hard to sleep, but anyway, it went several months like that. A lot slower. I was average about 2 gold rings a hunt, 3 gold rings. And come March, a storm came through there, just covered everything up. Very disappointing, but I still go back, check the place out, see what's going on, make sure nobody else has found it, and that hopefully it'll open up again, and I'll be able to have another year like that one. And 2019, I think I had 125 gold rings that year. So anyway, I'll show you a few right here. And it's hard to believe that that just by knocking on somebody's door, that would lead me on trail to gold. Okay guys, I've been hunting the Chesapeake Bay for 7 years, and I've got 700 gold rings during those 7 years. Of those 7 years, I've had 5 honey holes, and very blessed to have that. And but nothing to match 2019, the 150 plus gold rings. Pretty incredible. Wish everybody good luck and be safe out there.
That's a lot of gold rings. And for those of you who don't know who that was Joe Beechnut. I guess I should have said that right up at front, but I figured most of you would know him. The man he finds gold like you cannot believe. It's amazing. Just a wonderful fella. He's been a guest on Treasure Talk, and um, he will be back, and he was kind enough to share a treasure story with me for tonight, for the premiere of Treasure Tales. So let's see what else we can find here. And like I said before, if any of y'all want to come on and tell your treasure story, and a treasure story is a treasure story. It don't have to be like 700 gold rings. It don't have to be like Terry Shannon, what he's found. A treasure story is a treasure story, and y'all got some great ones. So please come on the show and let everybody enjoy your treasure story. It's all about friendship and the love of the hobby. So let me see if I can cue up another treasure tale. Let's see. What do we want here? Oh, here's a good one. This is by Sal Gattuso. He is a History Hunt Club, and he is going to be the guide for my England trip in September. So here's Sal with a little story for you.
Howdy, folks. This is Sal, and Jeff has asked me to share a treasure tale with you. It was back in 2007 in England. It was my first trip to Metal Detective England. Very windy and overcast and rainy pretty much the whole trip. On this particular day, me and one of my hunting buddies had gotten dropped off on a huge piece of property by some grain bins, some silos basically, and we were going to hunt this farm and meet back at lunch at the silos. Anyway, not knowing anything about where we were or what we were doing, we just went to some high ground, a nice ridge. It was probably about a half a mile away from where we'd gotten dropped off. Plowed fields. We'd been told some stuff had been found on that field, some Roman stuff, but we had not found much but lead and little bits that we couldn't identify. It was almost lunchtime, and we were getting quite discouraged. So there was a lot of old spent coal, we call coke or clinkers, in the field. And I was using a Tesoro back then, and I was afraid to discriminate that coke out because I didn't know what I might miss. And as a result, a lot of what I was digging ended up being that coke, which wouldn't be buried very deep. So it was pretty easy. But that said, I used to videotape everything with a little hat camera that I had mounted, but I had stopped recording because I was recording all that coke. Anyway, right as I'm walking back to my buddy, a fellow by the name of Craig, we got, I probably was about, I don't know, a couple 300 feet from him, and I got a little signal. I figured it was more coke, but I went ahead and took my shovel and scooped off probably not 2-3 inches off of the dirt and flipped it over, and there on the dirt pile right on top was looked like a tiny little gold coin. Well, it was so small, smaller than my pinky nail. I had to get down on my hands and knees to just even see if it wasn't a gum wrapper or something. I had never found a gold coin to that point. Anyway, I got down on my hands and knees, didn't touch it, and sure enough, I saw a cross on the thing. So I called my buddy Craig over. He ran over, and then I cut the video camera on. It was windy as all get out, but it turned out being an Anglo-Saxon gold penny, dated to about 640 AD, and minted in York in England, which made it particularly rare. When we made it back to the lunch meetup, I showed it to the guy who had dropped us off, and he couldn't believe it. So anyway, long story short, after a couple years, I did get that coin back out of the treasure process. and the export process, I should say. It wasn't 2 years. Felt like it. But anyway, I've still got the coin to this day. I was offered quite a good sum of money from an auction house in England after I'd gotten the approval for export, but I turned it down. So I'll include a couple pictures of the coin. And that's my treasure story. Happy hunting out there, folks.
That's another good story, and I hope to find a gold coin. Phil Myers, if you're watching, if I find a gold coin, I'm texting you a picture of it. As soon as I see what it is, I'm texting you a picture of it, and then I'll probably text you every hour with a picture of it. So anyway, let's get on with some more treasure tales. And remember, if y'all want to be on treasure tales, everybody's welcome. Just, get with me so I can get you scheduled. And let's hear your treasure tale. Everybody's got a good one. So let's see here what I can come up with here. Let's see here. Who we going to see now? Who we going to see now? Oh, I know who we're going to see now. Oh, let me go here. And a lot of you might recognize this young man. Great guy. Makes great shovels.
Hey guys, it's the Key Day here, proprietor of Excalibur Shovels. You can check them out at excaliburshovels.com. Thought I'd tell you all about a story about it from a year ago. Me and my buddy, we went metal detecting and went to a farmer's house, and it turned out the name of the city was named after him and his family. And we asked him if we could metal detect his house, and he said no. And he said, but out in my field there, between those two trees, there used to be a church that was built in the 1800s, and it was torn down in the 1950s. And he said, you guys can go out there and metal detect. So we're like, all right, let's go out there and do it. So after about a half an hour, my buddy starts screaming. And he's like, I just found a silver dollar. I just found a silver dollar. And I'm like, what? And I go over there, and sure enough, an 1894 Morgan silver dollar. He had it, and I waved over it, and it hit like a 38, 36 on the Equinox. And I could not believe it. I was so jealous of him, because I had not found a silver dollar at that point, but I have since. And after I looked at it, I set my coil down, and my coil bumped, and it went off like a nickel. And I said, oh, there's a nickel right here. It's a nickel signal. And my buddy looks at me and goes, it's your nickel. I got a silver dollar. It's your nickel, bro. And I said, okay, great. So I dug in and popped a little dirt clod out of the ground and waved over it, and it went down to like a 9. And started breaking the dirt clod apart. And my buddy starts to say, he goes, is that a gold ring? And sure enough, a 14 karat gold ring in the hole. Incredible story. Incredible. The farmer let us out in his field and was willing to share that information with us. And incredible, he found a silver dollar. And then incredible that I got a gold ring too. So pretty amazing story. There's so many good stories like that I have to tell, but that's a pretty good one there, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Take care.
So, for those of you who do not know, that was Casey. He owns Excalibur Shovels, which Phil stocks in his shop in Tampa. And I have to tell you, I've got one. I've got the Sir K model. He painted it nice blue powder coat for me to go along with our Blue Spade Society thing that we've got going with a couple buddies of mine. And that's a story that I'll tell you sometime. But it's a fantastic spade. He makes hand diggers. It's the best quality at a very good price. and you'll see a lot of diggers using them. And so if you want one, he can put your name on it if you want that. So, you know, you can call Phil and get it ordered. And I think, you know, he'll take the orders for the special orders, and you can have them different lengths and whatever. Phil will know. He'll give you all the goodies on it. 813-237-1939. So with that being said, let's see if we can find another treasure tale here. Let's see. I hope y'all are enjoying this, because I'm having fun, even though the internet don't work all the time, and, you know, getting fat fingers and muting microphones and all that kind of stuff. So I'm still having fun. I hope you are as well. Let's see what we can get now for another treasure tale here. Okay, we got that. Okay, now there's going to be a series here of about three or four, and these are from Sid and KT Jones from the Etosha Treasure Adventures. Now, they are the one, you've seen them on Treasure Talk. They have helped Mel Fisher discover the Etosha and the Santa Margarita. And they worked for him for a number of years, and they discovered the main pile in the Etosha, and they helped with the Margarita and everything. Sid was one of the captains on the Swordfish, I believe it was. And if you haven't got their book, Sweat of the Sun, Tears of the Moon, you got to get that book. It's a must read if you love treasure hunting at all. Phil Myers stocks it in the shop. You can get it through Phil. It's an absolutely great read. You'll really want to do that. So let's see if we can get, here's a little birthday story from Sid and KT. I hope you enjoy it. Hey everybody. This is Kevin with Treasure Talk. This is going to be a segment for our new adventure called Treasure Tales, and we're starting it out. I'm sitting here. We're at Fisher Days at Myers when we're doing this, but we're going to be talking with KT and Sid Jones. They were the ones, you've seen them on Treasure Talk, that worked for Mel Fisher on the Etosha and the Santa Margarita, and they got some really good stories. So with this being Treasure Tales, here we go. I'm going to spin the camera around. It's going to be very informal. Introduce you to Sid and KT, and they're going to tell us a few treasure tales. Hey guys.
Hello, what a great day to be here at Myers Metal Detector.
Yes, it is. It's warm.
And a typical southern or central Florida day in the middle of summer, right?
Yes, it is.
We like it.
Yes, it is.
Well, we've got a couple stories to share, because there's always stories to share. One of my favorite is the finding of these emerald buttons that you might see here. That's attached to my gold coin. This is a button that was found on somebody's cape, the emerald in the middle. And back before we found the main pile in 1985, Memorial Day 1985, Sid and I were out on the Saba Rock. A very large boat that blew big holes, big excavation. And we went down the bottom, and Sid's over on one side of this very large hole. I'm on the other side with the metal detector looking for goodies. And I hear him sort of twiddle at me to come over. He's about to run out of air, and he says he's got a good hit. And he shows me a beautiful piece of emerald jewelry. And said he was out of air. I said, I'll be happy to take over. Thank you very much. Which I did. Found 3 more. He's up on deck all excited about the one piece he found. I found 3 more pieces. But eventually we found 67 of these emerald buttons on the bottom.
Oh my goodness.
All scattered about. But then, after the main pile of July of 1985, that September was my birthday, and we were working the main pile, and I'm on the bottom yet again. Once in a while, Sid and I would dive with each other, and it's my birthday. And all of a sudden, I hear him come over and knock me, and he goes, "Look at this!" And you see this little bit of gold chain coming out of the sand. Didn't even think about shoving him out of the way, and started hand fanning it and pulled
Story of your life, Sid.
pulled out this beautiful chain. Wow, have you ever seen? And on the bottom was a little artifact tag that said "Happy Birthday." I don't know if you've laughed underwater with a face mask on, but I about drowned laughing so much. So, in essence, the coin was found on the wreck site, the emerald button, and my birthday chain, all on the wreck site.
Very cool. Very cool. That's good. Yeah, you didn't get in trouble after that for a couple days, did you, Sid?
No, well, it carried me for a couple of hours.
Yeah, well, that's all we can hope for. That's all we can hope for.
That's right.
So now that is a treasure story right there. That is a treasure tale. So we will be back
Keeping that coil moving.
again. Stay tuned. That was a good story, wasn't it? Sid was kind of smart that way. He wanted to, get some very, very heavy brownie points, and I think he did. So let's go and see if we can't find another treasure tale from Sid and KT that we filmed that day. And it was hot that day down at Myers Metal Detectors in Tampa for Fisher Days. And there again, I apologize for all the side talking, but we were at that event and there was a lot of people there, despite it being almost 100 degrees. And they were wanting to find out about Fisher Metal Detectors. So, and Sid and KT were there, so we figured we'd take the opportunity and get some good stories for you. So let's see if we can find another, shall we? Okay, let's see here. And okay, as the birthday, this is a good one. Okay.
So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the larger artifacts that we found out on the Atocha site. And one of the curious facts from the Atocha, and actually the Margarita as well, is that none of the cannons that we had found were found on purpose. All of them were found by accident. When I first started with the company, we were using a proton magnetometer to survey the seafloor. And a proton magnetometer picks up only ferrous metal, iron and steel. We got a very pronounced hit in relatively deep water. It was an area that we were very interested in, and I was tasked with the idea of going down and finding out what that hit was. So the two of us went down, set up a circle search, and I got this hit, and right next to an old coral head, and started digging it out. The visibility was really, really bad, but the hit was very, very strong. So I started fanning out the sand all around it, and it only increased the turbidity, made it more difficult to see, but I could feel that it was a cylindrical object. Now, at this time, there had already been 8 bronze cannons found on the Atocha, and we knew that there were a number of others that were missing. And the more I felt this object in the sand, it was the right size for a cannon. It had to be a cannon. I was convinced it was a cannon. And I was already thinking the headlines, the new guy finds the rest of the Atocha cannons. Already thinking about that. So fanning more and more, and my dive partner went up to get another excavation device, since obviously we were having problems digging this thing out. We really couldn't see what it was, we could only feel it. So I was taking my dive knife, the butt end of my dive knife, and I could feel concretion on it. And so I was kind of gently tapping on it to see if I could knock some of the concretion off, and sure enough, the concretion was coming off and I could feel it was nice and smooth underneath. It felt exactly like a cannon should. I'm all excited. Finally, the tide changed and started taking the turbidity away. And as the turbidity came away, I started to see more of the object that I had uncovered, and there were fins on the end of it. Oh! It wasn't a cannon after all, it was a 500-pound bomb. And the reason that there was a 500-pound aerial bomb there is because this entire area had been used as a target area since World War II. And so there was hundreds of thousands of bombs and rockets and torpedoes and mines all over the area, which we all eventually had to locate and recover and remove before we could get down to the actual area where the artifacts were. So that was my first experience in finding a cannon. Well, it didn't turn out to be a cannon. And for those of you in the metal detecting world, you've dug up an awful lot of bottle caps and pull tabs and things like that to find what you're really looking for. But fortunately, we did find more real cannons eventually, and that's another story we'll have to copy at another time.
Great story, Sid. For all you beach hunters out there, how'd you like to be digging on the beach and cranking down on that stealth scoop and uncover a 500-pound bomb that was still live? That would set you free, wouldn't it? That's a great story from Sid, and they've got a lot more of them. So let's go and see if we can't find another story for you. And like I said, I hope that y'all are enjoying this. And from now on, it will be live guests with live stories. But there, if you've got a really good story on a video and you don't feel comfortable coming on live, send it to me and we'll see if we can't get it on. We just want to hear your treasure tales and have a good time doing it. So let me see if I can find another one here. And let's see. We got that. We got that. Okay, let's see if there's another one in here. Okay. Okay, this probably will be our last story of the night. So sit back and enjoy another Etosha treasure tale from Sid and KT. Oh, come on. Let me do it again. We'll get there. You know how computers are. So, there we go.
The early margarita recovery, and a lot of great things came off the margarita. Obviously, everybody knows the Etosha. The margarita produced a tremendous amount of gold. It had been salvaged by the Spanish at the time of its sinking, or not long after, but they never found any of the gold, and we found a lot more gold than what was supposed to be on the wreck. A lot of interesting stuff. Now, we wield metal detectors underwater every day when we're working these sites, but this one particular day, I didn't have a metal detector on me, and yet I was able to find something, quite luckily, that exceeded a lot of everyone's expectations for the day. We were digging in a new area on the Margarita with a boat called the Swordfish, using the mailboxes in the back for excavation, digging in shallow sand, and we weren't really finding a whole lot. And the crew that I had at the time were all relative novices, and I kept asking them questions as these divers would come up about the bottom topography, what they were seeing, and they weren't giving me the answers that I needed to figure out exactly where we needed to be relative to the rest of the artifact find. So out of frustration, I jumped in the water with the mask and fins on. I swam around a little bit. I found an area on the bottom I thought we needed to be at, and so I had the first mate winch the boat over to that spot. And I wanted him to dig a test excavation right there just to see how deep the sand was, because I had no real idea. And rather than getting out of the water or swimming around the boat, getting on the ladder, getting out of the water, I decided to hang on the mailbox frames at the back of the boat while he dug a quick excavation. And before the other normal divers got in the water, I decided to go down and see if we'd actually excavated all the way to the sea floor, because we knew the sand wasn't particularly deep, but again, didn't know how deep it was. So I took a deep breath and went down. Of course, it's all very cloudy from the excavation process. Silt was being carried away pretty rapidly by the current, and as I went down deeper and deeper and deeper, the water was only about 20 feet deep. I could see this kind of square of something on the light colored bedrock directly beneath where the mailbox thrust was. And I kept going down a little deeper and a little deeper. I could see that we had successfully dug down to the bedrock, but I wanted to see what this square was. It kind of had a strange color. At first it kind of looked copperish, but as I got closer to it and the lighting got a little better, it obviously didn't look copperish. It was gold. And what I found were 9 gold bars and 8 gold chains that had obviously been in a box. The box was long gone, and they were all in the shape of a square, just sitting on bedrock that looked a lot like your driveway. It was just flat, white bedrock, this square of gold right in the middle of it. So I'm at the end of my breath-holding capability. I instinctively just grabbed for it, got all 8 gold bars and 9 gold chains, and pushed off the bottom and went up to the surface. Well, the gold weighed a lot more than I thought it was. It was about 28 pounds of gold. And so my thrust off the bottom and wild kicking to get up there brought me up to the surface, and I broke the surface with this gold in my arms, and everybody on the boat was going, look what he's got. But now I got 28 pounds of weight above my head and bloop, right back underwater. So now the struggle was trying to keep all of this together and make it back to the boat on a free dive, which successfully I did. So that was one of the best finds that I found on the Margarita, and it was all done without a detector and purely by accident. So 28 pounds of gold, all the gold bars and the gold chains. Pretty amazing.
And that's a great story. So there we have it. That's our treasure stories for tonight. You know, we pretty much took up an hour's time here. Now next week we're going to start with live guests. We'll be back at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. We're going to have some live guests. I think we'll have 5 guests next week. Let me just take a peek at the old calendar. Thank God Phil still has calendars because I use them. Because I'm old and my mind is gone. Yes, next week obviously is August 19th, and we will have live on Treasure Tales. We'll have the Diggin' Canuck with a couple more really cool treasure stories for you. We'll have Rachel Elmore, Jersey Ray Diggs. She's going to be here to tell us some treasure stories. Ricky Tumbleson. This guy is a hoot. You're going to love him. He's going to be here to tell a couple treasure stories. He is from Tampa. He's part of the Tampa Bay Diggers and the West State Archaeological Society. He's a good friend to Phil and myself and a lot of you people that are watching. So make sure you tune in to see Rick tell his stories. It's going to be fun. And we're going to have Lori Gagne and Eric Danis on as well. They've got some really good stories to tell you. And then we're going to close it out with the Mermaid Treasure Hunter. And she hunts basically, she lives in Okinawa and she hunts over there. So you'll get to hear some really good, cool stories about treasure hunting in Japan. So then after that, we've got people coming on. I won't tell you exactly who they are yet, but we've got 4 or 5 people coming on. We're going to try to have 4 or 5 guests every week to tell you treasure stories and, you know, carry on like that. And this is something that I wanted to do. And, you know, hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, everybody's got treasure stories. You know, if you've been metal detecting, bottle digging, magnet fishing, whatever it is you do in search of treasure, you've got some stories. And it don't have to be no grand story. Everybody wants to hear everything, you know. So if you're a brand new detectorist, hey, tell us about the first coin you found. Tell us how you felt. Tell us how you felt when you opened, you know, the box when you got your first metal detector. That's a treasure story. Makes everybody feel good, you know, and that's what everybody wants to hear. It's what I want to hear. You know, and this is a brotherhood of treasure hunting that we are involved in. And that certainly helps. People bond and become friends, and that's what it's all about. And you never know, you may somebody may recognize you and you find some more hunting buddies and this type of thing. And if you've got a YouTube channel, yeah, feel free to mention your YouTube channel. You know, maybe you get you some subscribers and that type of thing. So it's going to be a very, very informal type of a show. And we hope I'll continue to do it as long as we have the people that want to tune in and want to come on. You know, it is doing these shows is a lot of work. I will tell you that. And anybody that's done them will attest to that. But, you know, I just think it's a fun thing. And I tried to include some really good stories tonight in the premiere with the videos. From some very special people, and y'all are very special. So, you know, I know there's a few I've been talking to here. Lisa P., we want you to come on and tell a treasure tale. You know, there's a lot of you Essex magnet hunters. Now, this guy is dedicated. He's going to be on the show, I think, the end of September. I think he's going to be on, and he's from the UK, so it's going to be quite late when he's on. But he agreed to come on, so I bet you he's got some great stories. And a lot of you, you'll have some really good stories. So I just hope that you enjoyed it and that you'll help me out. Come on the show, for 10 minutes. And let everybody know your experiences treasure hunting, how it makes you feel, the type of hunting you do. We'll talk a little bit about you, your equipment, the type of hunting you do, and maybe if you got a question or something, somebody can help you answer it. But let's just tell our stories and kind of go from there. So that being said, I am going to sign off out of here. And we want you to tune in Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Treasure Talk. Our guest will be Trevor Ferraresso from Coiltech. He's going to give us an update on all the Coiltech product for Minelab, the Knox series coils, and anything else Coiltech. Now, if you haven't gone to the Facebook group page or even here on YouTube, the giveaway video that I posted, go find that and get signed up. And if you're not a member of Treasure Talk, or from time to time on Treasure Tales, I may give a few things away. I've got some books and stuff that I want to give away, but you have to be a member. So get that done and get signed up for the swag pack from Coiltech that we'll be giving away on Monday night. And we're putting up so if you got any questions for Trevor, let's get them listed and asked so we have a good time. And that we got about 30 seconds left. So I want to thank everybody I want to thank those especially that submitted these videos. They took a lot of time to do that. And that's very special to me. And I appreciate it a great deal. And all of y'all that tuned in, I've got a whole bunch of friends, out there in the metal detecting community. And I thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed what you saw. And hopefully we're just going to get better and better. And God willing, the internet will cooperate. So good night, everybody. Happy hunting and dig deeper and think of them treasure tales.